Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Shade in
Shade
the
in the
City.
City.
I'm your girl Trees,
It's Nels.
and we are jumping into our review of part 2 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So please, new viewers and returning subscribers, please make sure that y'all hit that like button.
And that subscribe button.
And y'all, let's get into the shadiness that is, the Real Housewives. They're still going. Apparently, there's part 3. But, we're here. We're going to do it. There's a lot of shadiness. Yeah. Let's get into it and let's get shady.
Up in Marlo's story, with her stating that no one has ever been able to bring any guy that she slept with or that she gave head to, and people just hate on her because of her fashions, basically.
Her
And
tiny violence.
that's what she does to make herself feel great. But she does say that Sonia will call her up, get in her ass and let her know, you shouldn't be saying things like that about Candy. You shouldn't be talking to Kenya like that. And she says that she needs that, somebody who can check her on her actions, which I would think that the difference between right and wrong, but that's neither here nor there. So Kenya says that she has something to say. And she says that she finds it hard I guess to like really feel anything for her because she feels like what she's saying don't match her actions.
Right.
And she'll have these she'll say these things about how she has these issues with men sexually, and in the same breath comes a Candy about how she can't keep a man because her pussy ain't good.
Well, it was that part.
And Marlo was like, did I say that? And Bravo.
Absolutely. Bring back
with them receipts. They ran it back. She said their shit.
She said it.
And she says, she wants to believe it's the truth, but it's constantly a contradiction and hypocrisy.
I'm sorry. I'm team Kenya in this one. I'm with her. I wouldn't even be giving Marlo my energy no more. Like I'm not. Look, if I was Kenya, I would be I'm not filming with her.
The real devil's advocate on stage, Sonia, she intervenes and she's like, I just want to add some balance to this conversation
because I'm
everybody has had
friend,
their own
except the person that brought me in the group
with her, but I've had a really good time with her. She's a really good friend to me. And Drew chimes in and says, that she really does love her as well, but really it's the consistency for her. And she needs her to be someone that she can trust. And I feel like didn't Marlo say something like, well, I didn't lie or something like that? Boo, it goes beyond that. So Andy moves on to the break-in. Yeah. And Marlo says that it was scary. She just heard William scream. She says that she doesn't know if it was the mother instinct in her, but she says, what it sounded like she was saying, in not so many words, was she told them intruders that she got her Thule and come in if you want to, you gonna catch this heat.
Okay.
And the motherfuckers turned around. That's basically what it sounded like she was saying.
They turned around. All right.
They turned around. So they didn't get anything. They didn't actually break in.
No, I don't think they actually got in because she said she was standing at the top of the stairs, and I guess they went to like I don't know, because then when you watch the interview, she said that they were hiding in a war room. In her
I don't remember what it's called. I know they have a lot of them in California. I can't think of what it's called. It's like a room for things like that, or like for if the world ends or something like that.
A war room. That's what she called.
What's not called a war room?
That's what she called it.
It'll watch it come to me once we're done. Then he turns his attention to Kenya and talks about the post that she made, and basically says that she was happy that no one was hurt, but Marlo held that information and could have possibly kept them safe, but was happy to release all the details in the interview.
Yeah, she did call her out for that.
Now, Kenya says that Candy had a scare, Marlo had a scare, and apparently Drew had a scare. And she really wanted to just hop on a conference call and see what they could do to figure out, put their heads together and see what they could figure out to keep each other safe. So Sheree says, 2 days after everything happened, Marlo did actually come to her house with the boys and shared everything. But apparently Marlo had told, I'm sorry, the officers had told Marlo not to share any details, although she still did. She said 3 days later she still did. Then Andy then wants to get into her decision to send Michael and William back and says that there was a lot of negative viewer feedback.
Oh, we know this.
Yes, we do. And she says what the problem she thinks was the verbiage she used, basically saying that she kicked them out rather than saying, she needed to hit a reset button. She says she's used to being fabulous Monty and getting spoiled, like them getting spoiled and ordering the pizza. And
no, that's not good, right?
Yeah, basically. She says that it also doesn't work if she beats them or she freaks out like her mom did. So I guess basically what she's saying is, she really didn't know what to do in that situation.
I know she said she didn't have control over her house, and basically she tells them at the end of the day,
I think she just said she needed
look what they said, she needed a break.
She needed to hit the reset button, basically.
Right. So, Andy is really empathizing with Marlo. And it's basically like, I understand based upon your, traumatic background, but at the same time, Marlo, because you've kind of been through all that shit, basically the same thing everybody on stage is saying right now, like, because you've been through what you just sat up here and told us that you went through, why would you go and make them boys feel that same way? Now, Candy talks about how last second she brought up being, segment, I'm sorry. She brought up being accepted, like I said, into a home, and she thought that was her home, and then being sent away. And she said, and I believe that's when she started acting out. So just based on that, she didn't feel like she would send the boys away because she knows what damage is done to her. And Candy says, you took all this time to put them in good schools, take them to great places, give them a nice room. And she's just really appalled. Marlo says that unlike her, when she was in foster care, the foster parents had to take classes to know how to deal, understand with the child that they were, obviously taking in. So Marlo says she's, from the hood, the streets, and therefore she did what she felt was best. Because at the end of the day, she just needed a break.
And she said like she had to figure shit out on her own, and she really just needed a break. So
but we do, obviously we saw that she had like the life coach. She went and got a therapist, so she can be the best person that she can be for Michael and William. Kenya is steady rolling her eyes. She's just like, it is fuckery. Now Marlo says she's more open with Michael and William now and talks to them a lot more, which she wasn't doing before. Then one of the viewers bring up why it's okay to spoil the foster girls in her program, but not spoil her nephews.
That they got to stay humble. I said, oh.
Right. She says that she doesn't see them as often as she sees William and Michael. And she teaches them to be humble as well. But she says, when it comes prom, Christmas, she wants to make them feel like the world is theirs. We learn her sister has not been in contact with them since
that phone call, I guess.
Andy tells Marlo how he admires her strength and her just crying it out and figuring out how to move on. And he's like, where did you get that from? And she's like, well, I taught myself. Then Kenya leans over to ask Andy for a tissue. I love this.
This part was hilarious to me.
He asked her.
It was even the way she said it. She said, Andy, can I get a tissue, please?
And so Andy's like, well, are you moved?
Are you wiping away your tears?
And she's like, no, my nose is just cold. Oh, Marlo looked blown. Marlo was so blown.
That was hilarious. And it was perfect timing. Kenya is just, oh my God.
There has to be a class out there somewhere for this.
Right.
So now Andy thanks Marlo for sharing, and she thanks Andy for letting her open up. Kenya says it's damage control.
And Marlo whispers, it's called evil bitch.
So she says hurt people hurt people. And her and Kenya are both hurt and they have similar family history.
And
Now
that's why she said, and that's why she can't uplift me and say anything positive.
I guess if that's what it gives you, okay, Marlo. They go through the segment of receipts.
This part was hilarious to me because we've been talking about it all season long.
Right. And I think my favorite one, which they bring up, is the receipts with well, first of all, we get into, and Andy's like, so what do y'all think? Do you feel like y'all kind of were more, because felt like you were more honest because you knew motherfuckers was like pulling receipts? And they were like, and then Kenya says, well, no, I think some people just like to lie.
They just don't care.
Yeah, they just don't care.
What I thought was funny was he said there's usually a competition about who's the shadiest housewife. But this season, the shadiest housewife was the receipts. Bravo was coming through with them damn receipts.
Yes,
Everybody was catching them hands.
They were, but apparently Drew got it more than most people.
Yes, she did.
They bring up the gaslighting of it all. And he's really asking her, like, did you really not know what gaslighting was? And she's like, no,
well, not when it, referenced my husband. Just okay.
Sometimes you can't see it when it's in your face, you can't see it when it's in your face.
Yeah. That's what it is.
And she's more taken aback that they took the time to make a whole film.
You know what it reminds me of? And this is not even like to be funny, but you remember the skit that Samora did and talking about being digmatized? She was like, I just be walking into the punch.
Oh.
So you can't see it when you see your face. Digmatized. That's what it is.
Well, anyway, so yeah, they realized she didn't realize the definition. But if she went and read up on it and realized that, that's clearly what they're going through. And they had to address it. But she's like, that's marriage. Meaning nothing was resolved by that.
Because she's just gonna accept it, just like she accepts him taking trips to Tampa, like it ain't nothing.
Well, then they asked Marlo about her edges and how they're doing. And we see that they're looking a little better. And she says, she's been using Kenya Moore hair care. She got local CVS.
Look, and Kenya like,
I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was, I don't even think it was shady. I thought this was big of Marlo.
I thought it was big of Marlo too. I didn't think it was, she said it actually works. She actually pulled up like her lace. She showed her edges and she showed that they're filling in. I didn't think it was, I wouldn't even think like she was even trying to be shady. I thought that was, because look, she didn't have to mention that at all. No, I don't use that shit. I don't want my edges falling out, or you know what I'm saying? And Kenya's like, yeah, my shit work. I stand by my products.
Like, I stand behind my products.
Go to CVS, go get my shit.
Okay.
Then they get on whether Ralph played football or not. And Drew says that he played football. He's an athlete, as you can tell from his body.
And Sheree is giving big shade. Big shade.
And Kenya calls her ass out. Like, what happened? What's wrong?
Like, why are your eyes rolling like that?
Right? Why you throwing her under the bus, boo? That's what I'm trying to figure out. And look, Drew shady ass. She look. Well, Drew.
Is something going on over there? Do we need to?
Yeah, like is there a problem? She ready. She's ready for all the smoke. So she says that he did play on the team, but he was red-shirted, which apparently means they kept him out of the competition for a year to develop his skills. I didn't know what the hell it meant, so I Googled it so I could share it with y'all, because, otherwise I guess I could have just let y'all put it down in the comments.
Going the extra mile.
I was going to let them just put it down in the comments, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just share it with y'all.
Go ahead.
That don't know. So then Andy asked Sheree.
Y'all should give her a like and a subscribe. Look at that.
You so stupid. So Andy asked Sheree if she was tired of being clowned about spring summer by the internet. And she says it was a bit much, but at the end of the day, she got t-shirts spring summer and jogger spring summer. So it works, she like, it's cool. Now apparently Candy even put out her own merch for Bitch I'm Worldwide. And people is buying it. I would buy that.
I would actually buy that water bottle. It looks really.
I would buy that. Bitch, I'm worldwide. I love that with her face. Bitch, I'm worldwide.
Everybody is like, just like Candy. The way she handled business, she wasted no time.
Right? She was on it. Like the nerve in you to say, like, I'm so local.
She definitely wasn't a Sheree. She definitely took advantage of the opportunity.
My thing is, Marlo was just carrying it like she was like some underground artist, and like really, she is worldwide.
Look,
like everybody and their mama know who Candy is.
And this is no shade because I know that they friends, but Marlo was carrying like she was Rashida or something. Just saying. So
no, we're not moving. No, that was so unexpected. Okay,
you said underground. I said Rashida. That's all I'm saying.
You know what? We ain't gonna get on Rashida because she making her bag. You know, she got her little
other
thing
ways. That's not music. So they jump into Kenya's portion of the show, and Andy asked if everyone notices that there was a change in Kenya this year. Candy said she came into the season with good vibes from Dancing with the Stars and all the good things that were happening in her life, and she thinks it just really shined through. Even Marlo is agreeing, and Kenya says she grew up taking dancing lessons at a community center that her grandmother used to take her to because they couldn't afford them. And after losing her grandmother, which I guess apparently happened like right before Dancing with the Stars or not too long before.
I'm not sure if it happened right before. I just know that she said she lost her and she always wanted to dance for her.
Got it. I just think that it must have happened before, but before it could have been 2 years before. But anyway, so obviously we know that she was featured on the show, and she just felt it was extra special because she felt like she was dancing for her grandmother. And Drew actually chimes in and says that that's why she wanted to take the opportunity to try to rebuild their friendship, because as we know, last season they were not in a good place at all. And Kenya actually says, thanks her for giving her their friendship another opportunity. Because Kenya knows she wasn't the nicest to Drew. Now, Andy asked about the divorce and where she is, and she says that, and I know I missed part of this, but she says that she's still not divorced. Andy asked why, and she said that it's not anything that he wants at this point. They just need a trial date, or they have to settle, or it's just going to go on. Oh, that's accurate? Oh wow.
I just got that she's just waiting for a trial date.
Oh, so they talk about how everyone loves drunk Kenya. We all talk
Everybody does love drunk Kenya.
Love drunk Kenya. And Sheree says that she just enjoys Kenya opening up and being lighthearted. One of the viewers asked Sonia, she didn't think she was being annoying by continuing to stress that it was a couples trip, even though she knew Kenya was single. And Sonia says that because of the trip to New York with Candy and her,
that actually made sense to me.
Couples trip, huh?
I thought she explained that very well, actually.
I thought she explained it very well until she said what she said. I felt like it was kind of a dig. It was like a low-key dig.
All right, go ahead. Tell me explain what you're talking about.
So then she said that, so she wanted to stress it was a couples trip, so she could bring someone. She says that she explained to Marlo and Sheree that she could bring a +1 so that, you could have brought anyone. It didn't necessarily have to be a man. But then she goes on to say that, based off of what she said on Candy's trip about her wanting to bring a +1, it made her think that you might have had a +1. And I said, that's not shady?
I didn't think so.
I took that as shade.
I didn't take that as shade because it seemed
like you made it sound like you had somebody and you didn't.
Well, so no, I didn't take it like that.
That's why I was like, oh, that's shade.
No, I took it like you were so upset that you had a +1 and could have brought your +1, but you weren't aware that you could even bring them. So I want to make it clear to you that whoever it was that you had in mind that you wanted to bring, you can bring them on this trip. So that's why I'm reiterating that it's a couples trip. You can bring whoever you want. I'm not saying it has to be a man, but you did make it seem like you had somebody you wanted to bring to the New York trip. So I want to let you know that for sure it's okay to bring them. That's how I took it.
Look at
I didn't take it as shade.
Y'all see where I'm a little fiery chihuahua. I just pop off. that would have made me mad. But what you say?
They're like, whoa. I'm just saying you can invite your boo. That's it. That's all I'm saying. So, okay, whoever you want to bring. Your mama, your daddy, your sister, your cousin, your man, it don't matter. Your son, you can bring him. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
So they think it's rude that Kenya hung up on Sonya and asked, does she regret it? And she tells us no.
Of course.
However, the one time she has hung up on someone else, which happened to be her grandmother, she said she hung up the phone and came to beat her ass. Okay. And so Andy says, so would you regret it if Sonya came and beat your ass? And Sonya was like,
she laughed the whole time. She ain't answer.
Right. And then Andy asked Kenya and Sheree, what was the big deal about them missing the iFit shoot? He can't even understand why they made
it. Like, I would have took the boat. Like, she gave an option. I would have been like, okay, vote for me, please.
Right, vote. And Kenya,
the vote has my vote.
Right. Kenya says she just really wanted to be there to support Sonya because, you know, they had missed the first day for whatever reason. And they really just wanted to be there. And Sheree can agree that whatever happened the first day, they all kind of really what it was guilt.
I thought that was a lie.
It was guilt.
It was a lie. It was a lie.
And you wanted to fake like you wanted to go.
It was a lie.
Okay.
It was a lie.
Okay.
I agreed with you when you initially said, because let me tell you something. At the end of the day, if I miss something the first day and I miss it the second day and I feel bad, I really feel regretful that I missed it and I really wanted to show up for you. I'm just going to express to you that I feel regretful. I'm sorry that I missed it. I really, really wanted to show up for you. I really wanted to be there. I'm not going to get mad at you.
Right.
I agree with you when you initially said that it was for them to promote their shit. That's why they were mad.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It had nothing to do with, oh, I just wanted to show up. Bitch, you're not going to get mad. You're going to be regretful.
I'm just telling you what Kenya said.
Oh, no, I know what she said, and I feel like it's a damn lie.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, look, she out here trying to call out Drew for being a liar. But, you know
she got to stay face, though. Kenya got to stay face. It is what it is.
I get it.
But basically, Sonya says that is not the sentiment that she got. Understandably, because that's not what it was. And she says that when Marlo showed up for her, she just kind of assumed that, you know, obviously they decided they didn't want to come.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, she says that she was annoyed that she had lost her phone. She had been in the sun all day. She was worn out and felt like, you know, they could have at least said, hey, you know,
how was your day?
How'd everything go? That's my point. If you were upset at yourself, because that would have made you upset at yourself.
Right.
Like, damn, I really wanted to be there to show her. I'm going to not hang out on the beach right before it's time to catch the bus to this shit. I'm going to make sure I'm on time. Yeah, what did she say? Your actions are not matching your words.
Woo! Well, if that ain't nails with a word. Sounds like
I think Kenya just didn't want to be in the hot seat. That's all it was. She didn't want to be in the hot seat. So Andy asked Sheree what she meant when she told Sonya that she needed to handle Kenya. Sheree said that Kenya can be a little bit aggressive, and in order for you to gain Kenya's respect, you got to stand your ground. Mm-hmm. So Kenya's like, oh, okay, so you were trying to help her, but not trying to help me. Sonya's like, boo, you ain't need no tips. And she don't. She really, really don't.
But you know, Kenya's here for the loyalty of it all, and I ain't mad at her for that.
I didn't feel like it was disloyal. She was basically just saying, like, boo, if you want to be not looking like a dumbass, but you, just like we said, but you better take some tips from somebody, get some tips, some tricks, or something. You're gonna have to stand your ground because Kenya will chew you up and spit you out. And I didn't think it was disloyal, but it was like, if you want this woman to respect you, you're gonna have to.
If you want to come back next season for this bag, you better figure it out. Now, Andy jokes with Sheree and says, in order to deal with Kenya, you have to handle her like Pookie.
And I'm check me, boo.
Right, and they run back the receipts of you know, her.
Well, she said she about to call Pookie now.
Yo, and I'm Cleveland, and you know, I call Pookie and them.
I call Pookie now.
So as they're discussing this, her phone rings and it's Martell. Martell Ho.
Kenya snatched the damn phone and answered it.
And she's like, hey, Martell, call her back, Martell. So then even Andy gets on the phone with Martell. And Andy lets her know that he is definitely a 10, Sheree.
A 10 out of 10.
A 10 out of 10.
Oh, and then Kenya was like, well, shoot, from what I heard, the D is a 10 out of 10.
She said, what I heard from the friend, the D was a 10 out of 10.
Well, we know what she sure enough did. She said a friend of a friend. We know what friend that friend is. The one right next to her ass. Getting that D.
Sheree says she's not here to confirm nor deny. Okay. Now, Andy asked about Kenya and her Jamaican boo John and what happened.
Oh, you got his name? He said his name? Or you remembered it?
His name was John.
You remembered it or Andy said
Andy said it.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that. I was about to say, well, you remember this man name, girl.
I wouldn't have remembered it now if he hadn't reset it. So she said that they, he went to the bathroom, but he did come back to dinner. And she says they had a good time and, went their separate ways. And Andy assumes that he returned to Kenya's room later. And Kenya is like,
what you think of me?
Trying to insinuate, Andy, what type of girl do you think I am?
She said, I don't need to D like that. The hell? I ain't pressed on the D.
Then they bring up how Sonya goes into Kenya and her sob stories and her tiny violence. And she feels like, Kenya was really disappointed in Sonya when she saw that clip. Because, she was like, those moments where I was sharing something with you, it was actually very genuine. So for you to sit there and say that, you felt like I was just using it as a way to not hold myself accountable. She felt like it was fucked up. And Sonya says she also felt in that moment that they were genuine, but it was hard when every time it came time to hold her accountable for something, she would bring up whatever she was going through. So then they jump into Ross and him sticking up for his wife. And Sonya says she was super happy that he did that. She don't feel like he should have did anything different. And was like, he wasn't cursing at anyone in particular. He was basically saying, just don't fuck with my wife, like anybody can get it. And definitely was not addressing Kenya directly because he would never do that. Andy asked Kenya if she accepts that, and Kenya says she does. She says Ross is a very sweet, gentle guy, obviously mild-mannered. We know we don't really see.
And she said he hardly even said 2 words. Right. I actually like the fact that, Kenya in this moment stood up for him as well because, yeah, I like that.
So they asked Kenya why on earth would she play that messy ass game at Brooklyn's birthday party. I think we all wanted the same thing because that kind of set the season off. It really did.
But at your baby's birthday party,
right?
That's some shit you do like when y'all drunk and you just want some messy time,
right?
Not at your baby birthday party.
She said she thought it would be cute and like lightly shady.
She's like, I thought it would be like about like like who dyes their pubes,
right? And basically, Andy,
we don't do that.
She tells Andy, clearly you don't approve if you up here making it a topic of conversation. And Andy says, it was interesting to watch, but he wouldn't have wanted to be there. And Andy would have been like one of the white parents walking out of there, taking a child. Oh, this is messy. Little Susie can't watch this. This is crazy. So they address the comment about Sheree saying Candy sucks dick everywhere. And Sheree doesn't feel that she said anything wrong. She's like, I'm sure you sucked it in the car, you sucked it here, you sucked it there, you sucked it everywhere.
Yeah, she's like, I did it too. Shit.
It felt like a Dr. Seuss book.
Exactly.
So Candy is like, well, I just feel like for you to be taught, like you clearly are out here doing the same thing. And she's like, I
am. But especially with Mr. Martell, I'm sure.
I was gonna say we know. Look, I didn't want to say it. We know Martell.
We know he like heads.
So
Andy screamed about a few seasons ago.
So Andy opens up the room for anyone who wants to tell Candy who wrote that about her sucking D in the locker rooms. And now is the time. Everybody, of course.
And it's crickets.
Crickets, birds, chirping.
Nobody wants to fess up. They don't want to face that wrath, boy.
Right. Look, they're like, Marlo's already getting it. We don't.
But Kenya's like, Candy, girl, I got something to tell you, child. Candy like, what? She like, I love you.
Right.
Girl, I'm just kidding. I said, you know what? Kenny, you be doing the most. Doing the most.
And Andy asked Kenya, does she feel like she has the same energy she started the season with? And she says yes. he asked her how the like momentum is going. And she says her businesses are going better than they ever have.
Yes.
Everybody's trying to
Boom.
slide her a number. She's taking everybody's man right now. Okay.
What got me was she said she was group dating.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. Group dating. Maybe
Yeah,
like
Andy wanted to delve into that. He was like, what you mean group dating? Apparently all she meant was she's going out with like Moneta and like friends, and it's just like a group of friends.
oh.
But you know what everybody else thought was like,
What are you into?
what's some new shit you trying right now? What the hell you mean group dating?
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
So then Sonya gets her moment, and he brings up the disconnect with Ross and about expanding their family. And he asks Sonya if her first season of reality TV was what she thought. And she said it was different from when, she just filmed with her family, but she's grateful
I
being
didn't know she had a show with her family.
She had a show on WeTV with just them, just the family.
And it was successful?
I think that's why the show.
This was before Real Housewives of Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they like to, this is what they do. They like to all live together. They don't. I think they was the same way the last time, but it was literally like just the family, her.
I guess my question would be, what would make them want to follow her family before Real Housewives of Atlanta?
She's how dare you say that? Are you really gonna make me do this to you? Do I'm a 4-time Olympic gold medalist, bitch.
There's other people that won shit in the Olympics. Why her? I guess that's
because maybe she wants to do it. Like other people don't want to do it. Michael Phelps ain't interested in being on TV like that. Other people want their privacy after they've been.
But I think I just don't really care about what people in the Olympics do in their personal life. I want to watch some messy shit. Like what's her face? I would watch her. Damn, what's her name? The little chick that got caught smoking weed. I would watch her.
This is what's wrong with our society.
It is. But you squeaky clean. What the hell? Why am I watching you? This is why she's on Real Housewives of Atlanta, because I ain't the only one that think that way. Boom.
So anyway, that is just terrible. As Sonya, I'm sorry.
It is what it is.
I'm sorry she read you down like that. There's that she did better than you've ever did on the show. But anyway, so then she said, she's grateful to be there with the ladies and be a part of it. So he asked her if being a track star or being a housewife is harder. And she definitely says a housewife. So Marlo turns to Drew and says, why have you made it so hard for my friend? And Andy says he loves seeing her family and ask about them. See, that's what I was saying. This is a thing. She says after seeing situations like Marlo, she doesn't take for granted having her parents and loves doing life with her family. Now, he asked her about the baby plans, and Sonya basically says that she told Ross he had 6 months to shoot up the club, or, she was.
I loved his response.
And he felt like that was kind of crazy or a little bit unfair that he's been waiting almost like 3 or 4 years.
4 years. And now you want to give me 6 months?
So she said,
knock you up.
Right. So she says she's leaving it out for now. Andy asked what made her mind change so quickly, because you went from the beginning of the season absolutely not wanting to do this to literally the end of the season. And I felt like he did that for a reason. But I just felt like he wanted to be like, were you trying to make this a storyline?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she said that,
Girl, look, when them checks come in, listen, everybody searches for a storyline. So look, I can't judge, because I guarantee you, I don't give a damn who was on the show. If we got on the damn show, listen, the end of the damn season coming, you want to be on the next one? You gonna throw some shit out there to be on the next one and get that check too.
I'm gonna be pregnant by next season.
Baby showers, all types of shit. Look, mommy moons. Yeah, we're doing all types of shit. We're doing all types of shit. You might make up some shit.
Right. So no, then they bring up Drew But basically, she says her and Ross have talked. They're in a better place because he actually started listening to her.
Yeah,
and
she feels heard.
what she wanted, her concerns and whatever. And that alone, just, as we talked about it in review, it just makes you feel some type of way. It does something to you. Just, mutual respect and understanding. It does something to you. Men, you better listen. I don't know if any men are watching this review, but you better listen.
I think she has a great husband though.
No, yeah, Ross seems like a really good guy. They bring up Drew advising Sonya. So my notes are a little messy on this, but they bring up Drew advising Sonya to have a baby because Ross wanted her to. And, they were just like, that seems like a little, Neanderthal. You just thinking you just got to have a baby because this man wants you to have a baby. And Drew's like, well, how else is he going to have a baby? He can't have a baby. So I understand where Drew was coming from, but a lot of people don't respect your marriage, Drew. So you can't sit.
I was going to say, listen, for this, I hold Sonya accountable.
Because you shouldn't have went to ask her.
Why are you going to ask advice from someone who does not have a great marriage? You are great from what I can see. We know that we can't go off everything we see on TV.
It's a different dynamic.
Or social media.
A totally different dynamic.
But I don't understand why you would ask Drew for. At the end of the day, I don't understand. If anything, Drew should be coming to her for advice.
And then to double down and go ask Ralph. Remember, she went and asked him at the gym. So it was a double-edged sword. Like you said, I get what you're saying, but yeah, I'm with you on that. That was her fault. But anyway.
And apparently, I know Sonya feels like she doubled down when she went on his show.
Oh, the Watch What Happens Live. Mm-hmm. And she basically said that you may not have a baby, but another woman will.
The nerve of you. You don't know what's going on in Tampa, boo. He might already got one.
Well,
let me tell you something. I feel like these ladies on these shows, they give each other a little bit of grace because they know that they have to be shady a little bit with each other. So they can move forward.
They can't say anything that's like deal breaking. Like you can't have, that's why Marlo is problematic, because you're saying things that make people not want to film with you.
But they also can't be like cotton candy and rainbows. They have to say some shady shit in order to make the show interesting. So I feel like they give each other a little bit of grace. Let me tell you something. I wouldn't have gave a damn, grace or not. I would listen, that little shit. Now I know that they show us the clips. I don't know if they show them the clips, but as soon as that shit would have popped up, oh yeah, if you don't do it, another bitch will. But you don't know what's going on in Tampa. He might already got one. And didn't want to sign up for another one.
Well,
listen, it would have been a whole fight. And we sitting right next to each other. I'm ready for the smoke.
And I thought that was really weird too. Why? That was really, really awkward seating because we all up in each other's face and we not even really cool like that.
Okay, they want, look.
And you done remove the bridge, so I can't walk off stage.
And you know this girl can be aggressive. You know she's problematic. You know she would all the smoke. So look, I'd have been like, look, I know you ain't talking. I'm not worried about if I don't do it, someone else will. But you should be.
Well, Andy then tries to pinpoint.
They out here getting massages and all types of shit. You don't know what the fuck the bitch massaging.
Well, Andy tries to pinpoint the issues between Kenya and Marlo and figure out what the it is, right? Now, Marlo says that Kenya has always been dismissive and she uses her when she wants her. One of the viewers brings up how she talked about Kenya's mom and why is she surprised that Kenya doesn't fuck with her. Now, Marlo says she understands she never forgave her and just used her to get information about Portia. Now, Kenya is trying. Is
that what she said?
I believe that's what she said.
I thought she said, so that she wouldn't be friends with Portia. She said to get information about Portia.
Well, I kind of believe that too, but friends, whatever.
Because I know then Drew later said, well,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I was
I know Drew thought like, well, she was like, Marlo, well, you didn't want me to be friends with Portia either. And she was like, no, I just told you I can't trust you because you're friends with a lot of people I'm not friends with, or that she doesn't trust. But I think Marlo was trying to say she didn't necessarily say Portia's name.
Right. So, but they do this back and forth banner. I couldn't catch it all. Maybe not.
Look,
No. And
all
so
the captions in the world can't catch that.
right. So Andy tries to get back on track when Marlo goes into about how, she doesn't think Kenya can ever forgive her, but she's so sad by that. She's crying tears. This is sarcasm, guys. And Kenya is such a great role model and calls and checks up on her and William. And this is what I was talking about, this victimization, like this. So we're trying to make Kenya seem like a bad person because you've been a shitty individual to her. You've been shitty individuals to each other, but now she's supposed to go out of her way to call you and check up on you and William and Michael and be a role model. Like, your expectations for somebody that don't fuck with you is very strange, especially when you had a part to play in them.
I feel like Marlo, you know what it is? So I feel like that Marlo has did have such a bad relationship with her mom, who
Right.
treated her like shit, or maybe they both treated each other like shit, right? But at the end of the day, they would kiss and make up because that's her mom. Now, whether she expects that,
the only thing that's been consistent.
But I'm feeling like maybe she's expecting that from other people. Oh, we might get in our shit. We say the worst of shit to each other. But at the end of the day, we're supposed to be friends. We're supposed to kiss and make up and everything's supposed to be okay. And this is supposed to be repetitive, some shit we do over and over and over again.
That's not toxic at all.
Yeah, not at all.
Kenya talks about how Marlo is a sociopath and she's just fake, and says that she doesn't even go by her real name. And she calls her out, LaToya Hutchinson. And I said, well, LaToya Hutchinson.
Now, one thing I can say, so I'm not sure where this name came from, but bravo with their receipts. They didn't have anything that said LaToya Hutchinson. She said, pull up the birth certificate. Didn't say LaToya Hutchinson. But what did she say? She said something about 1970 something. Did she give her
friend or something when she put something in her friend name or something like that, or she got arrested or got a ticket?
So Marlo is saying that she's not actually LaToya Hutchinson. She used her friend's name. Is that what it was?
Yeah. So basically the same shit that she was out here making fun of Ralph and Drew about.
I was about to say, but when she was naming her charges off, that ain't a charge she named.
Look, because you got fraud,
using a different alias,
identity theft.
She ain't named that. I'm just saying. They start going back and forth about who's paying taxes and what type of money they making, and what is it, the little square shit? I don't know.
Square reader, because apparently they run it back. Apparently Kenya said that Marlo has
a square reader between her legs. Yeah. So a fan asked Kenya, why is it okay for her to say hurtful things for years, but she calls Marlo hurtful, but her words to other people have been disgusting. And here we go with the deflection. This is what I'm talking about. Kenya says that she doesn't think that Marlo's words are hurtful when they're directed at her, because she's innocuous, vapid person and completely selfish. Look, Marlo was like, girl, I gotta look up these words. Shit, me too, Marlo.
Right?
Me too. Okay. And she says basically that her words don't affect her. The problem for her is it hurts the people around her.
Right.
But I feel like that didn't answer the question. And that's what I meant by deflecting. That sounds like some PR shit. That sounds like somebody got you prepared. That's what it sounds like.
Oh yeah, she went to Real Housewives 105.
So a fan asked Kenya and Marlo, does their relationship feel like a version of their own personal parent-child issues, as in they hurt each other like their parents did to them? And this is what I was explaining with Marlo, at least. We don't know too much about Kenya's past. And Kenya says that when they were speaking earlier, she listened to everything that Marlo had to say, and a lot of it is new information, but it comes across as disingenuous. And she says that she's seen her drag almost everyone on the show without question. She says she even dragged her own nephews, and she constantly is talking about her mother being in jail, being on drugs, and she's constantly talking about so many other people being in jail, but she don't talk about herself.
Ooh.
And basically says that
She said she been in prison, y'all. Prison.
yeah, she was wrong about that. But you know, she's basically saying that she's telling other people's realities and you know, not sharing her own.
Well, we do know her storyline was
Apparently, according to Kenya, she got locked up for slashing a woman's face. And Marlo, look, Andy ready to move on, and Marlo says she got one thing to say. She tells Kenya she's a lying bitch. So she
that
better,
got under Marlo's skin.
huh?
That got under Marlo's skin.
Mm-hmm. And she ain't gonna, you know, throw no dirt on her name. And when she posted tonight, she better apologize. Andy then turns to Marlo and says, we did talk about, you know, your foster care, but we didn't talk about like the results of you staying in foster care. And she says that she was in the streets, you know, she was in these streets, being a little hood booger. She says she went to jail for 6 months.
Hood booger.
She was in jail for 6 months. And says that experience woke her up and she realized she ain't never want to go back. And she never did. Apparently, after the 6 months was up, she was on house arrest, but you know, she was out partying and you know, drinking and all types of stuff. She got violated. And, you know, now she's, you know, naming off her charges. She says that was one. The other one was a check for under $100 for the University of South Florida, where she graduated from. She says with her 4-year degree, and it was because of the wrong address, and says that was those 3 charges basically. Kenya says she probably done forged them papers to get through college. I said, yo, Kenya just don't know. She just can't help herself. She says her last arrest was in her 20s. And that's really why she knows that Kenya, you know, wants to bury her. But she's like, don't worry about it, because the Lord got me.
I ain't worried about
God got me. Okay. So then they move on to Sheree and Drew's relationship. And a fan asked Sheree if Anthony has ever been her assistant. And why? No, I'm sorry. If Anthony has never been her assistant, why is he labeled in her phone as assistant? So what's crazy, it was funny to me because when she said, I was like, damn, that's a good idea because that's some shit I need to do. So Sheree says that when she meets people, so she doesn't forget them, she'll put like their title next to them. She's like, if you look at my phone right now, I probably got 15 painters, 15 assistants, 10 makeup artists.
Ain't nobody. You gotta have multiple.
That is not what she was saying.
That's basically what she was saying. She told on herself. How many painters do you need, Sheree? Once you find somebody and you like their service. But go ahead.
So Andy asked if he got a label and a title in her phone. And she's like, no, boo. Kenya said, yeah, you do. It's under Andrew Rich Bitch. Period. Dot. I know that's right.
That's
so
funny.
Andy asked Drew if she believed what Anthony said. And she said, you know, it's not whether it's, you know, believing it or not. She just felt like it was uncomfortable and it was information she didn't need to know. Sheree says, well, you wanted something because you're the one who you know, started the, if you can see from the phone call. She was just more like, you know, what do I do with this information? And Sheree says, well, you know, we exchanged numbers at Marlo's event. She says that apparently the phone call happened before Marlo's event, so she really didn't know what to do. She's basically saying she didn't know Sheree at that time, like that. A fan asked Drew if she pays her assistant because she has a lot of them, or are they just unpaid interns? And she says she takes very good care of her assistant. She says they are very well paid. And Sheree was like, well, not according to Anthony. He didn't get his last paycheck. And Drew was like, boo.
Well.
She was like, what you're not about to do is come for me because this man's car was about to get repo. We took care of that on top of paying him. Let's not do it, boo. Let's not do it. So a fan asked Drew, why does she act like her assistant didn't say that her husband was gay? And Drew says, because he didn't. And she pulls a recording from her phone where Anthony is basically talking to Ralph and basically saying that, you know, Sheree basically made this shit up. It's basically what I got from it.
That you lied to me.
And Drew says that, you know, she just kept on asking Sheree, like, where are the receipts? Where are the receipts? So Sheree basically, you know, Miss Queen Bone Collector.
I was like, why would you
Queen, look, Sheree was like, bitch, don't even come for me. Like, I got you, boo. I got your number. She calls Anthony on FaceTime. She's like, I got a live receipt for you. How about this? Okay. So she's like, first off, let me ask you this. Have you ever been my assistant? He says, no. Then she asks, well, how much money do I owe you? He's like, honestly, well, you don't owe me anything. Sheree says,
but we know Anthony is a liar. Can we just?
He is a liar. You know, he a messy little bitch. You know,
he's worse than Drew.
So Sheree says, well, Drew was just playing, you know, a recording basically saying that, you know, she was lying on him. And Andy, look, it was, you know what? I felt like Andy basically snatched the phone. Okay. He basically snatched the phone out of Sheree's hand, even though he didn't. That's what I felt like. He basically like, look. He asked him if he said that Sheree, like if he said to Sheree that Ralph was gay.
Right.
He says maybe at some point in time he did, but you know, he doesn't recall that. Of course you don't, Brewski. But you sound real sure in that damn recording. Yeah. And then he says, for the record, he doesn't think that Ralph is gay. But he does think that Drew needs a storyline. And they basically come to the conclusion that this man is messy as hell, and they hang up on his ass. Look, Drew was floored. She was, boo, you can't be look. They messy, boo. They messy boots.
Woo. Thank you
guys
for tuning in to another review of part 2 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion.
We'll be back for part 3 because we'll be back
for
a song that never ends.
Because it's a show that never ends. I think they're gonna just go ahead and lead us off into Potomac, which we are doing. So please make sure that you show your support. We would love and appreciate it. But if you have not already, please hit the like button.
You comment.
You subscribe.
And hit the notification bell.
And make sure you're following us on all the platforms that are the Twitter, the TikTok.
So you can see what's going on this weekend.
Yes, because it's going to be birthday behavior, and I'm excited.